It was a sight, a sound, and a slam 2.5 years in the making.
It's that little shimmy baseline rip. Yeah, just being aggressive, take it to the hoop. It's what I do best, try not to settle.
Parker Fox finally got to live out his childhood dream, taking the court at Williams Arena for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The Matamidi native poured in more than just 7 points in his debut. He poured out all the feelings and passion that had been bottled up for nearly 1,000 days.
I think it was like the same, flash in my head, the Moorhead game at the tournament at the Pentagon, the same kind of emotion where I'm, clapping down the sidelines and kind of vintage, it's just who I am. Everybody knows, the way I play is, I play all out as hard as I can, and that emotion comes out, and it felt good to be able to do it again.
There's no reason for Parker to hold back now. Not after an arduous journey that nearly derailed his homecoming.
Parker Fox sliding in. Fox, oh my goodness gracious!
After a standout career at Division II Northern State, he transferred to Minnesota back in the spring of 2021, only to suffer an immediate setback.
Really short time after I committed, I was still up in Aberdeen, was just going through a workout with, the guys up at Northern, and just went up for a dunk and landed in my leg, and, unfortunately blew out my ACL and a couple parts of my meniscus.
Parker spent the 2021-22 season rehabbing his left knee, going through a rigorous schedule that tested his time and patience. After more than 12 months, he was finally cleared for summer workouts. But his return only lasted a few practices.
And we did a transition drill, and I was just taking the ball up the court, and I went to go, swing it to the wing to one of our former teammates, Jamison Battle. And the moment I planted and passed it out to the wing, I felt my knee shift, and I had kind of felt that feeling before. I didn't want to jump to conclusions right away. But I definitely had felt that feeling before, and my eyes kind of shot wide open.
He looked at me and I looked at him, and I could tell by the look that he knew it wasn't good.
I looked at him and I said, I did it again. And I don't remember his exact reaction, but I knew it right away that something was wrong.
I'm just thinking anything but. We can deal with anything but. And, I walked him back in the locker room, and we sat there and talked for a little bit. And the more we talked, the more I knew that he knew that it was probably ACL again. You never think that the right one's going to go, especially when you're dealing with the left one for 13 months. You're spending all your time and focus on that, and then the right one goes, and you just can't believe it.
The unbelievable had become reality. On the precipice of getting back to his old self, Parker Fox had to start all over again. Another year of rehab, another year lost, and another year wondering what his future entailed.
I told myself after I tore my first knee, I said, if I ever tear my knee again, I'm done. There's no way that I would ever go through what I went through again. I would just be done. And the moment it actually happened, that wasn't even a possibility. I knew I had to get the surgery and I had to get going, because I knew I had gotten back to where I was, and I knew that I could do it again.
We did have some discussion about, okay, what's it gonna take? And how are you gonna go about it? And because you've got to try to stay positive. You can't, you got to turn the page.
I told him the good thing is he knows what the rehab is like, so there's no anxiety towards that. He knows what it looks like. The bad thing is that he knows what he looks like, and he knows it's a grind to get back. But I think it just goes back to, if there's a player that's able to handle that type of adversity, it would be Parker.
And so, with the resolve that had already been tested, Parker went back to work. Not the kind he wanted, but the kind he needed. And even though the process was familiar, Parker's feelings fluctuated.
There were some days where I was like, what's the point of this anymore? I'm 24, I'm headed on 25, I'm an older guy, why do this anymore? But I think what it comes down to is how much you love it. I had put so much to this, so much of my time and energy and effort into this game that I couldn't just give it up. I couldn't just be done.
2 surgeries, 2 years, and too many days on the sidelines. A kid who grew up cheering from the stands is now the one receiving the cheers. Parker Fox is finally home. It may have been an opportunity delayed, but Parker would not be denied.
You know, I get emotional even thinking about it, but like, I'm just blessed that I get to be able to, you know, represent my home state and come out here and do the thing I love. I mean, I could cry thinking about it, but it's so special. Like, my parents are here, my grandparents are here, my grandma's here. Like, everybody's here and they get to see me do it. And I get to wear Minnesota across my chest and have Fox on the back. Like, there's nothing better. I'm at a loss for words.
Parker's always been a pretty media-savvy guy. In fact, during his rehab last season, he started working on a project called the Double Down Podcast, where the focus is specifically on interviewing athletes who've gone through significant injuries. And Parker admitted it was kind of a selfish motivation because he wanted to gain some insight on how those athletes dealt with difficult situations. Now, he hopes to produce more episodes of the podcast soon, but of course, he has been a little busier this season.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Build Your Base with Beef Sports Nutrition and Training Program.